All right, let's talk December homeschool and holiday plans. I'm going to be sharing my own family's December homeschool and holiday plans and traditions for this year, but definitely down in the comments, share with me, what are you excited about? What are you looking forward to this December? I love to chat with you guys in the comments, and I'm excited to share our plans with you for this year. I'll start by telling you a little bit what I normally expect December to look like for our family, and then we'll get into what this year will look like, because it will be a little bit different. I am a second generation homeschooler, a mom of boys, and my husband works at a school. He is a high school Spanish teacher, so he gets Christmas break every year. So while you'll hear of a lot of homeschool families taking maybe all of December off of school for fun and festivities, we typically do school up until around the middle of December, and then we take off for several weeks while my husband has his Christmas break, so that our break lines up with his. And his break is roughly mid-December through around the first week of January. He does get a good long Christmas break, which is very fun. We always look forward to that time together as a family. So that's my normal expectation for the year, is doing school for roughly the first 2 weeks of December and then being off of school for the second half of the month. One of my most cherished traditions every December, and this is something I've been doing since before I had kids, was having some kind of Christmas countdown. I love counting up to Christmas, seeing the days get a little bit closer each day. And our family created a couple of years ago a Christmas countdown calendar with countdown cards that are illustrated. So here's for December 4th, and we have a reading about the picture of Christmas cards. We have a reading about it on the back of the card. So we will be hanging these up throughout the month as we count up to Christmas. All of that. And to go with our countdown cards, I have a parent guide. This is all found in our Christmas calendar bundle, which I will link down below. We released this a few years ago, but I feel like every year as my boys get a little bit older, they're able to engage with it and understand what Christmas is a little bit more, understand the excitement a little bit more. I love counting up to Christmas. So this is my most cherished tradition, is doing some kind of Christmas countdown, and we will be using these again this year. The great thing about Christmas countdowns is that even if you are having a little bit of an overwhelming December as a mom, I find that even hanging up cards is not something I really need to even remember, because my kids will definitely remember it for me, and they will definitely take charge and take the lead if need be, which may happen this December because we are expecting a baby right smack dab in the middle of the month. So obviously expecting a baby to be born impacts both homeschool and holiday plans quite a bit. And also, it's very difficult to make plans around when a baby will be born, because baby might be due right in the middle of the month, but you know that means very little. We don't know we're going to have an early December baby, later December baby. Right now, I would say bets are mostly placed on a little bit earlier in December. Both of my sons were born before their due dates, and we have dealt with some preterm labor issues and scares with this one. So it's quite possible the baby will come earlier in December. It's also quite possible he will decide to hang out until his due date. We don't know. You can't predict and plan on these things. But I will share a little bit about what our plans, as far as they can be, are based on when baby comes. Where we live, which is in Southeast Asia, it's very traditional that mom and baby will be in confinement for 30 days after the baby is born. And this can mean different things depending on the family and depending on how many of the traditions that you follow. It's kind of a cultural expectation that mom and baby won't be going anywhere other than the doctors during this confinement period. So I would not be expected or to be seen at the store or at church or at any gathering. Neither me or baby would be expected to be seen anywhere within that first 30 days. It's kind of a 30 days for mom to be at home in bed with her baby, and she's also not traditionally expected to be managing housework, cooking meals, taking care of all the rest of the things. So I think there are a lot of perks to this tradition. There are also many other traditions and kind of policies, special foods that moms are supposed to eat. I don't follow all of those because I am American Western. I also don't like ginger, and most of the foods you're supposed to eat have a lot of ginger in them. So it's also just my taste buds. But I have followed the 30-day confinement for both of my other sons, and I found a lot of benefit in it. So there are different ways that families make this work. Sometimes moms and their newborn will stay in a confinement home or a confinement center that's specially a business made for that purpose. Other times they will hire a confinement lady to come into the home, take care of housework, cook their meals, a special confinement, basically assistant. But the most affordable way to do confinement is to have a family member, usually your mom or an auntie or a sister, someone like that, to come and stay with you or come to your house every day and help with taking care of your family and your home while you snuggle with baby and have that time to recover. So I had very different recovery experiences with my firstborn and my second. My firstborn was a pretty terrible recovery experience. I was very, very sick. I got better in the end. We made it through. So that I don't tend to remember very happily. But my second, after my second son, I had a beautiful recovery experience, beautiful confinement, 30 days. I have very many happy memories of snuggling with him and being able to focus on him, bond with him during that 30 days together. So I am planning on the 30-day confinement adjusted to fit our own family. And the affordable way that we do it is I have grandma right close by. We don't know yet how things will play out, and it'll probably look different depending on if my husband is on Christmas break or if he's not on Christmas break, if grandma will be over here at our house most of the time, or if she's just gonna take my big boys over to her house. We don't know what that's gonna look like quite yet, but I'm so thankful to have her close by, to have her very, very willing, very, very helpful with able to be there for my older sons, be there for me, and the house and the food and all of that. So that's kind of the local cultural tradition that I have practiced and I have benefited from quite a bit, and plan to do again. Now, there are a few things that complicate this blissful, simple picture of me and my baby just enjoying each other for 30 days while the rest of the family takes care of itself. There are, of course, the complications of real life. We are Americans having a baby overseas, so actually we have a fairly urgent, you fairly urgently want to start dealing with the paperwork. You have to file a consulate report of birth abroad. After having a baby overseas, our sons will not be citizens of the country that they were born in. They can't be because we aren't. They will be citizens of the country that my husband and I are from, which is the USA. So that requires a trip to the embassy with a whole lot of paperwork and with a newborn. And it would be in some ways good to do that during my husband's Christmas break. However, it's also going to kind of depend on when the baby's born. If me and baby have had enough time to really be up to a road trip by that point, because it does take us a good long time in the car, a good at least 1 day, possibly 2 days of being on the road to be able to do that. So I don't know if that's going to happen during our Christmas break, but the paperwork does have to be handled fairly quickly. In addition, again, it's Christmas break. It's a time to be festive, a time for all the cooking and treats and fun times and family times. We are also expecting that most likely my sister, her husband, and her toddler will be coming to stay with us during their Christmas break from their school, because my sister and her husband are teachers. So that means we're looking at having a family of house guests staying in our house, possibly when we have a baby that's a few days old or maybe a few weeks old. And that can be quite a bit different, a baby a few weeks old versus a few days old. But we don't know when the baby will be born. And on the one side, it can feel like, doesn't that seem a little bit crazy to have like a whole bunch of people staying in your house right after you just had a baby? But on the other side, this is my sister's hometown. She knows her way around everywhere. She's got lots of friends to see. She's got lots of places like to go. She knows how to do everything. She knows how to get food. She knows all the food she wants to eat while she's here. So it's not the kind of guest that I would feel any need to take care of. I love you. I'm excited to see you, but I probably won't be in a good state to actually like be in hostess mode, activity planner, director, whatever, but they're fully capable of taking care of themselves, so I'm really not worried about that. Now, some of our family's absolute favorites to spend time on during Christmas break include, of course, watching Christmas movies, eating special Christmas treats, which I usually do have a few favorite cookie recipes that I make. Don't know how much I'll be up to that this year. Maybe we'll make them more in early December. I also, usually we like to make a big batch of homemade dumplings and have a dumpling party during Christmas break. And I also always make homemade hot chocolate mix because even if it's super hot, I want my hot chocolate at Christmas time. Playing board games is another family favorite during these days of break, cozy Christmas days of break. I mean, they're not that cozy because it's still 90 degrees outside, but we can pretend, right? Turn on the aircon maybe. Thankfully, a lot of these things are pretty doable and conducive, even if you do have a brand new little baby, and even if you are working on recovering. I think a lot of that will still be able to look the same, cuddling in bed, playing games, watching movies, simple things like that. Sometimes our family does try to travel on Christmas break, but we're not planning any of that this year unless it means we're going to the embassy to file some paperwork for the baby. That's the only trip we would potentially be planning, but we'll just have to see how that goes. So that's our plans, our homeschool plans for December, holiday plans. I do plan on homeschooling roughly up until the baby's born because you might as well just keep the same usual routine and schedule. That tends to be the most helpful thing with small children. Of course, it depends on when this all goes down. But I'd love to hear about your December plans. Let me know in the comments down below and subscribe to this channel for more updates and nerdy homeschool videos. I will see you. Bye.